Welcome to the What I Meant to Say podcast. I'm your host, Wendy Jones, and I started these conversations because life doesn't give us do-overs. So this is a space where we get a chance to reflect and tell our story again, with more grace for ourselves, and hopefully make us all better for having listened. On this episode of What I Meant to Say, I caught up with entrepreneur and founder of ABOV Headwear, Humberto Sanchez. The mission of ABOV Headwear is to tell resilient stories of the unsung heroes that are out there every day making a difference in the world. This conversation about how to convert passion into purpose was right up my alley, and I hope you enjoy. All right. Well, we got Humberto Sanchez from ABOV Headwear today, and thank you so much for joining us for What I Meant to Say conversation. I'm really excited. We've been trying to do this for a while, and we finally made it. So,
Yes,
yeah.
we did it. Thank you so much, Wendy, for having me. I mean, it's an honor for me to be
Oh.
here on your show.
Well, thank you. I want to give you a little lead in. I don't even think you know the story yet, but Tony Rodriguez and I connected about a year ago, and we've been friends ever since. And
Okay.
she was having a chat with you in the car when we were on our way to a volleyball game. And she was driving
Oh,
me when I had a cast on my foot, and she was driving me down to Long Beach State to watch men's volleyball. And when she hung up with you, I was like, wait, I've been following his story on Instagram. And because I had seen the synergy in our messages, and she's like, oh, yeah, he's a great guy. So, we've been going back and forth on Instagram, but it's funny how the universe connects through people. And
super.
I know you see that too. So, I'm just excited to launch into your story about where ABOV Headwear has come from and your
Oh my
inspiration
God.
behind that. So
Yes,
tell
perfect.
us, tell us.
Well, above headwear. So, how do I start? Basically, I mean, I love hats. I'm a hat collector. I actually have pictures of myself since I was 2, 3 years old wearing hats. So, I mean, like I said, I mean, hat collector, but one day I went to my drawer basically and look at the hats and I said, I was looking for something just to dress up like casual, right? I was going to a grill with friends. All my hats were either a team related or a place related, right?
Sure.
Some place that I visit, or some, let's say, athletic brands, big brands, right? So I said, and there's nothing out there in the market that I could use for casual wear. So I started thinking about it, and all of a sudden, above headwear was born. But I think that's the story, the business side of the story, right? But like I said, and I think I have it on my all my platforms. I want for Above Headwear to become a platform for people, those unknown heroes, right? Those person with a lot of stories that super interested and that other people don't know about it, right? And I want this to become that platform uh, to show the world these stories, to empower others to do the same, and the hat will be our flag. So basically, that's above headwear in a nutshell.
It's beautiful, and it resonates so much with me, and I couldn't agree with you more about the unsung heroes out there, because I truly believe people learn through stories. And you're telling those stories with the hat being the signal, but the stories that the people you're finding. I watched some of them on YouTube, and
Yes.
you really are, you're picking the diamonds out there and putting your hat on them. I love it. So
Thank you so much. Thank you so
yeah,
much.
yeah,
It
go ahead.
is funny because I mean I had an injury just like you, just like Tony. I tore my Achilles tendon. And it's funny because a friend of mine told me like, whoa, I mean that's an injury of Kevin Durant, Kobe Bryant, JJ Barea. And I was like hit my mind like there's a lot of people out there who suffer injuries and going back to stories that they have stories to share how they overcome those challenges, and you don't have to and we don't have the platform to share those stories, right? And for every Kevin Durant and Kobe Bryant, there's thousands of people. with injuries and stories, diseases. My friend Efrain, who has a colorectal cancer, spread to the lung, spread to the liver, and now he's alive and he's looking to share the story and empower others. So why not doing
Absolutely.
it? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And that's the aim of, one of the aims of what I meant to say, and be better movement is just to share these stories and collaborate with people and stop seeing everyone as the stories are competing against each other, but rather they're just a giant quilt of amazing stories that we can all learn from. And I feel like when we tell these stories, we get the sense of connection,
Oh
and
yeah.
then more stories flood out of that. And that's how my days are starting to run into, just like, I cannot believe the synergy in all these stories. So
I know.
yeah, so tell me a little bit about, you're from Puerto Rico, and
I was born and raised in Puerto Rico. Yes.
and growing up there, you played volleyball.
I play. I was a sport Billy.
Okay.
Just a little bit of every sport. I play volleyball. I play basketball. I play softball, baseball. But to be honest, I was, let's say, the best at volleyball. Yeah. So play volleyball through, I mean, varsity, high school. But that was it. I mean, I
Okay.
have a vertical of 2 inches, so
Okay.
you can imagine. You can imagine.
Right on. Well, I remember the Puerto Rican boys teams coming up when my son was playing club level, and they were always so talented. And we met a lot of them in, the quarterfinals, semifinals. Like, really, that was my first taste of the sport
I
from
know.
down there,
I
and
know.
it's impressive. It's really impressive. So,
And this is even more impressive that with the lack of resources, I remember I played volleyball in concrete courts.
yeah.
So I mean, there was nothing fancy. And just at 2 p.m. in 90 plus degrees. So I mean, it's impressive what Puerto Rico teams can do without all of the resources needed.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with. It's amazing the type of athletes that will create, because, and
I
that's,
know.
I grew up, it was really hot, and I always tell people I learned to play volleyball on the blacktop. So, these kids, and then my kids down here, I'm like, wow, you have no idea how good you have it. But it's whatever your experience is, where you are, if you can make the best of it,
I know.
that's
And again, it goes back to, I mean, resilience, right?
yeah.
I mean, you have to do the most with what you have. That's life
Yeah.
itself. So
What do
yeah.
you think? What do you think are some of the things in your life that have helped you come to that place where you know that resilience is something that creates success?
Wow. I mean, a bunch of stories. I mean, I was like, let's start with I was growing up. I was, let's say, on the end side of my all my cousins, and we used to play a lot of basketball sports, and they basically dominate me, right? And they were bullying me every time. I mean, in a good way, but I was like crying. I really want to beat these guys. I mean, I wanted to be one of them. I want to grow up. So that was my first experience, let's say, with the resilience, right? Afterwards, when I got to 15 years old, let's say, and they were 22, 23, I start beating them
There you
because
go.
I practice every day, every day, every day with those two cousins in mind. And basically, that's when it started the resilient piece of it.
Yeah. So another example of where sports has taught you lessons about your life that I'm sure you apply every day in your business, right?
I know,
Because
I
the
know.
the entrepreneurial journey is not. It can be lonely. It can. I mean, have there been points, in creating your brand where it's hard to believe, or hard to see the way forward, or do you have do you have experiences in that?
But yeah, I mean, definitely. So, I mean, it's hard. First of all, remember, I'm living now in North Carolina, just for 5 years. So I don't know, not even know my surroundings, my neighbors, right? The areas here in North Carolina. So with that, I'm let's say a step behind it. But I have to keep the focus, keep going out there, sharing the news, getting to know more and more people, and that's the way you do it. I mean, nowadays with social media, obviously helps a lot, spread the message even faster, but still, the always going to an event. I went to an event 2 weeks ago. It was a friend of mine that basically was a 1 year anniversary of her gym, and I met incredible people there. I mean, and I mean, I will continue to do so. I mean, combining both social media, but also getting face to face, shaking hands, and talk to people and share the stories.
Yeah. And the stories, I can tell the stories energize you. So do you
Yes,
enjoy the one-on-one is always for me, I enjoy that more than anything else, but then the passion to spread a message, you got to take it to a bigger platform, right?
I know,
So,
and it's just like that connection, personal connection is not on social media, right?
yeah.
So face to face, uh, is a must.
Yeah. Well, and I think that the greatest thing we can do on social media and the way that you're sharing the stories of people is really try to inject that human connection as much as possible and then, follow it up. Because I think if our everyday lives match what we're putting out on social media, that's when you start to see the game change, right?
100%,
Yeah.
100%. And actually, let's say, to be honest, Wendy, this is my first time doing an interview. For me, it's a super milestone. I don't like to be in front of the camera.
Oh, I hear
I
you.
don't know why. And you hear all of those experts saying you have to do it. You have to do it. You may look ridiculous or silly at first, but that's where the personal connection starts. And that's when you really start influencing and empowering other people when you show your face.
Yeah.
And actually, thank you so much for this invitation because it's the pressure now is on me, right? I can't say no to this great opportunity. So from now on, maybe you will see my face even
Yeah,
more than
no,
social
I
media.
believe me. I have fought that battle like for years. The first time
Oof,
I tell people the first time that I put a camera in my own face, like I teared up. I'm with you. It is
I
it
like it.
yeah. So I mean, part of this journey is challenging those fears and then when you every time you do something you get a little bit better at it.
I
And
know.
so I feel you on that. So
I know.
thank you for coming, and I'm sure you'll have
Thank
many
you.
more in the future. So we're just
Oh, thank you
here
so
to
much.
practice. So
Thank you so much. I love what you do. Your show. I mean, obviously we have something in common. Our why is the same. So, I mean, yes, looking forward to do more and more. And
yeah,
actually, a great idea will be to have not my story, but the stories that I share with other people's stories on your program and
yeah,
vice versa. So,
yeah.
super.
I exactly. I want Be Better to just keep collecting these stories and products and people who are out doing things that they're passionate about because I feel like that is what changes the world. And the
I know.
news can be so dark, but everywhere I go, I don't care if it's a barista at Starbucks or a waiter or somebody who has their own shop, those people, when they're passionate about what they're doing, it's a total game changer in anybody's day. And
100%.
and after coming through the pandemic and having it be so isolating and quiet on the streets, and I didn't used to go to Starbucks, and then I started going after the pandemic because I just was so appreciative of that person behind the counter that remembered my name and my order, and I realized
100%.
that that is what we had lost.
I
It
mean,
became like a whole new level of appreciation for human connection.
appreciation for human
Yeah.
connection.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I see
I mean,
that come through your stories on your YouTube channel. So everybody go watch the stories on his YouTube channel. They're inspiring.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's normal people doing extraordinary things, stories, like I said, about overcoming disease, overcoming fears, overcoming injuries, and I mean, and more to come.
Yeah, I love it. So how do you go about collecting those stories?
I mean, just reaching out to people. I do a lot of research. Actually, there's another story about. The one that I post like 3 months ago, Vanessa is her name. She's an athlete. She competes on fitness um, events, and she was struggling with a previous relationship. In under depression, and she overcome all of that to become a champion. She won her class classification, and I mean that's another great story. It's more research, doing research in Instagram, in social media. I think one of my strength is that I mean is connecting people, is reaching out, is asking questions, even though I have to ask more.
Yeah.
But it's like that. I mean, just following them on social media, and then reaching out. Hey, I love your story. I want to share your story. This is what I'm trying to do. And 9 times out of 10, they say yes, let's do it. I want to collaborate, or and so on. So
Yeah.
simple as reaching out.
Absolutely. I love that. And that also resonates with me, and just the ability that you've had to like to connect your passion and your interests, because so often like I think we think everything seems random, right? Like you like
Yes,
hats and you're a good connector. Like how do those things relate? But when you just start living in that place where you're living with what you love, it becomes apparent, right? So,
definitely,
um,
definitely.
so did you bring your family to North Carolina with you, or are you?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. My wife, Maria, my daughter, Ana Catalina, she's 8. We're about to celebrate our 20th anniversary, wedding anniversary. So yes, I mean, the three of us. And our little dog, she's a schnauzer,
Uh huh.
Leah
Oh,
Bella.
beautiful. Sounds like a beautiful family. I don't think I've seen a
Beautiful names.
picture, but yeah, all the names are beautiful. Um, and so you're raising a daughter.
Yes,
And I think these resilience stories are really big to teach. They're great teachers for the next generation.
I know.
Cause
Definitely,
yeah,
definitely. There's a lot of misinformation, a lot of noise out
yeah,
there. So I mean, we as parents better watch out, be closer to our children, and raise them the best we can. I told my wife every day, our job is to provide her tools that when we're not there, she can defend herself, right? So if we have to protect her, but not put it in a basically a bubble, right?
yeah,
Because if not, down the road, she will not have the tools. Definitely.
yeah. That's such a big message to send out there these days. Because I think watching your own child, watching them hit a point of struggle is so difficult, and I know that I've seen that with my four. It's so hard as a parent to go, what is this something that they need to learn on their own, or is this something that I need to protect them from? And I think so often it's easy to err on the side of protection and then realizing that you're really undermining their strength.
Totally, totally. I 100% agree.
Yeah. And
Going back to my story about my cousins beating me playing basketball, that needed to happen in order to.
yeah.
That's my fuel. I mean, that was
Yeah.
my fuel. It still is my fuel, right? In other levels, but that needed to happen. Just imagine my mom or my dad. No, no, don't play with him. Let him win one. No, I mean, that was
No.
needed to happen.
Right? I mean, and that's such a great message going out there today where kids in sports competitions, it's cutthroat all the time. And from a young age to a certain extent, I mean, if you're getting involved in club sports in in any sport, volleyball, basketball, travel, softball, whatever it is you might be in, it's cutthroat, right?
Yeah,
But and sometimes you say, oh, I don't want my kid to play on the twos team, or a kid doesn't want to play on the twos team, which is it's and you realize usually you are where you are, you are where you're supposed to be. And if you just accept that and take that idea, that battling idea, and even Tony brought that up when she was the first guest on my podcast, and
love
she
her.
talked about being, yeah, she's a above headwear athlete, so, and that makes so much sense to me. But she talked about being on the B side and just wanting to be on the A side. And, what was my job as that B side player to just crush the A team, make the A team better. And it does build a fire. And I think we can forget that as parents and as younger athletes, that being the underdog is, generally speaking, if you got the work ethic, it's a great thing.
It's a great thing.
Yeah.
Yep. And
So,
also about the feelings, right? I mean, I remember when we grew up, this was playing basketball. A few of my friends, like every time we lost, they're crying. I mean, no, don't cry. I mean, no, let him cry. That's the way he's expressing his feelings, right? And that is healing. It's a healing process. And once again, it needed to happen in order for you to grow.
yeah, yeah. I'm not a big believer. We say now in my family, better out than in, and just letting yourself, just expressing yourself and not being afraid to do that. And, hopefully for our kids, creating an environment where they feel safe enough to do that and be heard and acknowledged for what they're feeling. Because I think that is, and I mean, for your daughter to be only 8 and you have that type of a mentality around her that's so awesome. Because
Yeah, thank
it's,
you so much.
yeah, it's really, really good. Hey, I hope you're enjoying this chat as much as I am. For more inspiring conversations, go to bebetterwithwendyjones.com. We hear so much in the news today about, different groups and where people belong, and how, I feel like society and the news are really wanting to segment people and put
Oh
them
yeah,
in one box. And I'm such a believer that every person is made up of so many different stories and different things, that I hate putting a label on anything. And something that's
agree.
I've been saying so much lately, and I really believe this when talking about kids, is kindness is inclusive, right?
Correct.
So if
Correct.
we can teach our kids from a young age that no matter who they come across, just be kind, because you never know what someone's battling. And that's where those resilient stories come from, is if you can come across one person who's going to be kind to you on a down day or a down year, it's a game changer. So,
Game changer. This is something that, like you said, I mean, I teach my daughter, and this is the way that I think. There's always two sides of the same story, right? So if someone is not kind to you, uh, in every time you can, right? Think about what's happening to that person at that specific moment, or what's the behind the scenes before reacting. Be kind. Think about, put yourself in the other shoes, and that's the key of great relationships and and a better society and a better world, right?
yeah, right there, exactly. And I'm such a believer in this, multi-generational exchange of stories and wisdom, and it comes across, it really, and using platforms like yours and products that have a meaning behind them. That's another thing about, capitalism and the way that we live. I'm such a believer in conscious capitalism, that I think brands that have a story behind them, that, when you put that thing on, it means something. I think that is such an amazing thing in America. And I don't think that in other countries it resonates like that. But we have the ability to put, if you have a dream and an idea and you can put the work in, things happen.
The
And
tools are there. You
yeah,
have to look inside you, find that fuel, look for those tools, and make it happen.
yeah, yeah.
Everything is out there. I mean,
So I know that you've aligned with Taylor Crabb and Victoria, his girlfriend. I see them in your ads. And how did you make that connection?
it's interesting. It's more Victoria than
Okay,
Taylor.
okay.
Actually, Victoria was the one that introduced me to Tony.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, they are
Imagine
friends.
that.
Okay.
Imagine that. So when I was in college, this is a super interesting story. And I mean, this will be an ad, but I don't care. There's a brand, BB Racks. I don't know if you
Sure,
know
I
them.
remember. Yeah, uh-huh.
When I was in college, that was the hottest like clothing. I mean, all the flowers, and I mean, I used to play volleyball back then. Tropical island, right? So it was a perfect clothing
Yeah.
for us. So I grew up. wearing BB racks. When I started like Bob Headwear, started looking for people. Then I see Victoria. Actually, she was, let's say, a spokesperson for the brand. I was, wow, this is a super interesting. BB racks. I reached out to her. Now we're working together. Um, and by the way, I didn't know. She told me, I don't know who's, if it's the owner or VP, someone higher ranking in BB Racks is from Puerto Rico.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And I didn't know about it. I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
I said, wow, actually, I have to reach out just to see. Just to say hi. Maybe we can collaborate. Maybe we can't. But it's a fellow Puerto Rican, so
Yeah, absolutely.
I must. I must.
Yes.
So Victoria is being, so key for the brand in terms of penetrating the California market,
Yeah.
right?
She's
It's
a
a huge
connect. She's
market.
another connector for sure.
Oh
An
yes.
authentic connector. I've only met her a couple of times, but she's one of those people that when you talk to,
Oh
it's
yes.
like you've known them for a while, and it's she has a real
Great,
she's
great
got a way.
person, and she's like, she took me through the volleyball tournaments, the rankings, the qualifiers, the pro series, and it was wow. That's a word that I didn't know that much, right? So then, I reached out to Tony. Actually, we are like sponsoring her. I was watching the game which she got injured. Wow, that broke my
I
heart.
know. I know.
So
She'll
let's see
Yeah,
what
I think
happened. Wishing her the best.
absolutely. I texted her this morning and we were going back and forth. And me too. And I do think she'll be back and the kid is so strong.
Oh yes,
But I
another
was
great story.
yes. Yeah, another great story, resilient story for sure. So, yeah, I was watching that match too and it was heartbreaking, but she and Savvy will be back. So,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, she
Um
will.
yeah, so as far as what are your goals? Like where are you taking where are you going with Above Headwear next?
Well, I want to become a established brand. This is it's gonna be my first year now that in 10 days is my first year anniversary. There's a lot that I need to still learn, a lot of people that I need to reach out. But that's the goal, right? To become an established brand and once again be a platform for more and more stories for those unknown heroes. That's my goal.
Yeah.
To be honest, Wendy, right now, I mean, from the business side, I'm doing, I don't care about margins, cost. I do care, right?
Right.
But it's not what is important right now.
Yeah. And
It's more about, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
no, no, it's okay. You're wearing that entrepreneurial hat, so to speak. So I'm sure you're doing a million jobs, right?
Oh,
And but when you have passion behind it, it's wild how your whole day can go by, right? And you just can get lost in it, I'm sure. I mean, that's how I feel when I'm working on my stuff.
I know. And don't keep in mind, I have a full-time job. So
Oh, really? What's your day job?
I'm I'm a senior product manager for a portfolio of surgical products.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, you have a
Yeah,
lot on your plate. And
super a
that's
lot
yeah.
on my plate.
But I think that comes with the entrepreneurial gene, right?
But you know what? That phrase that said, find your passion and you will never work a day in your life, 100% true. I wake up thinking about above headwear. I have to do my day-to-day job. After 5, 6 p.m., I go back to above headwear and I'm having the best time of my life. Just to be completely honest, best time of my life.
It's beautiful. I mean, that's where, true success comes from, right? I mean, to be able to enjoy that time and then put something out great to the world, like that's the sweet spot right there.
I know.
Yeah.
And going further, if let's say 1 year, 2 years ago, Above Headwear is no longer here, I get the sense and how to say satisfaction, or at least sharing the stories that I just share. So I mean, I will
Yeah,
be equally happy.
absolutely.
But it will not happen. I will be here
No, I was
all
gonna
along.
say with the passion and the way that you connect, I mean it's amazing the channels that open up with that ability
You know,
to reach out and connect with someone because everyone's out there doing something that it's like when you talk my mind starts going, oh, I know that like how do you do connect the dots, and man, when you start doing that, stuff comes in fast. Like the highway is like, and
that's true.
I mean, that's where I've noticed in the last, I mean, I've had this surgery, but in the last 6 months, I'm like, okay, go back to your yoga, like breathe, because everything is coming in so fast and you just want to stay present with,
This
yeah,
close.
this close and do the next right thing. And then it all comes together. But
Yeah,
it's one thing at a time. So,
one thing at a time.
yeah. So, another thing that struck me about you is, there's a lot of talk about race and culture and all the things that we are as Americans. And how do you think that the culture you grew up in is playing into your story today?
Oh, I mean, tons.
Yeah.
Why? Going back to the kids in Puerto Rico playing sports without the ultimate resources. That's the story of Puerto Rico, right? We don't have the best power system in the world. We don't have the best government in the world. We have hurricanes destroying the islands, the island. I mean, plenty of let's say things that are against us, and somehow we keep striving, we keep going, we keep going, we keep growing. And actually, going back to let's say the situation in Puerto Rico, where two hurricanes hit the island in a row, and now the economy is going back because of the people. I mean, resilience is, I think that's the word that encompass everything. Resilience is the way we as Puerto Rico, I describe us as Puerto Ricans.
Yeah, that's beautiful. The that concept of being resilient and not having what a lot of the kids maybe around here where I'm living have. And I always say you can never, we're all born where we're born, right? And we're born into whatever situation, but I do think that those resilience stories and even having a little chip on your shoulder is it
Oh,
ends up being a really strong and empowering thing. And I think the antithesis of that is entitlement. And, I know, so your daughter's going to grow up a lot different, right, than you did
yes.
because of the opportunities that your hard work has created. But do you have any ideas on things you want to teach her that she might not learn, to teach her that resilience instead of, if she's in a different position than the way that you grew up?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, great question, right? Because she has more resources that I did growing up. But it's going back to the day-to-day situations. She gets back from school, Daddy, I mean, this happens to me, or I can't put this together, I can solve this problem. Uh, I'll sit down with her and with her mom, and basically just try your best. Let's do one more. Let's do one more. And that's the way you teach resilience, right? I mean, don't give up,
Yeah.
because I mean you will have, everything is an excuse. I mean, you can take, excuses are in the air. You can grab them easily. Don't do that. I mean, that's on you. Have accountability, and be responsible for your actions, and
Yeah.
you will get the results.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, she's in what grade?
Second grade.
Second grade. Yeah. Oh,
Actually, she's going to third now. I mean, she finished in 2 weeks, actually.
very good. Will we see you out for any of the AVPs? Are you traveling for volleyball?
I love to do so. Yes, actually, I have. Well, Tony sent me her schedule, and I was following her just to see where I can go. That I think there's a one in Virginia Beach,
Mm-hmm.
something closer to the East Coast. And if not, well, California it is. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't mind. I
Yeah.
love California.
Yeah, there's two in Atlantic City, and but we'd love to have you in California. So,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I really want to go. I want to meet you in
Oh,
person and meet Tony in person, meet Victoria and
yeah.
all of the beautiful people that I've met in this journey.
Yeah, absolutely. So, where are some of the best places that people can find you, and how can they get involved with Above Headwear?
Yes. So first of all, our website is www.aboveheadwear.com. Instagram is Above Headwear. Facebook Above Headwear. TikTok Above Headwear. Yes, all of those platforms. YouTube Above Headwear.
Awesome. Very good. That's where all I mean, those videos are great on YouTube, and your hats are beautiful. The new bucket hats are beautiful. The
Thank you
visors.
so much.
Yeah. So, and my daughter plays beach volleyball too. So I was showing her, she's like, oh yeah, you're right, Mom. These are great.
Yes,
So,
I know.
yeah, we'll
I
be
mean, comfort is my main priority.
awesome.
It's like wearing shoes. I don't know. You remember back in the time we were wearing shoes, trending shoes, but they were so uncomfortable,
Yeah.
right? So now it's the same with the hats. I mean, I want the hats to be a comfortable piece. I do custom made hats, blending colors, trending colors. That's something that I don't see any other competitor doing. So that's the best combination: the comfort plus trending colors and trending, let's say, looks.
That's fantastic. And you can find all that on your website.
You can find them at my website, aboveheadwear.com.
All right. Well, I have enjoyed this conversation so much, and I
Oh,
think I think it's the beginning of something much bigger. So I know
I
you
know.
and I will keep in touch, and we will continue to connect through these stories and products and things that really just make the world better. And thank you for being one of
Amen.
those people and having the courage to, walk the walk and go out there and start something that you believe in. So I'm glad we connected, and I thank you so much for coming on What I Meant to Say
No, I
today.
mean,
And I
Wendy, I can't thank you enough for this great opportunity. Love what you're doing. Keep doing it. Thank you for the opportunity and I mean blessings to you, to all your family, and to all of our friends.
absolutely thank you. We'll make sure all this gets in the show notes so everyone knows where to find you. And we'll talk again soon, I'm sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us for the What I Meant to Say podcast. For more real conversations like this one, come on over to the Be Better community at www.bebetterwithwendyjones.com, a place for athletes and parents to grow and find meaning behind what we do every day so that we can be strong on our own and better together.